Our next guest is going to knock your socks off. She's an author, international speaker and mentor, and was recently featured in the Changemakers book series. She has served in the Defence Force and is now the proud owner of her own business, Jacqui B. Please welcome the amazing Jacquie Scougall to the Girlfriend Hour. Looking divine. This is how all my girlfriends turn up at my place on a Friday night, in case you're wondering. This is really normal.
Absolutely. You can't not.
You can't not. Exactly. Jacquie, you've had such an incredibly diverse and interesting background. Please tell us.
I finished school, obviously. Everyone finishes school at some point. But when I was 18, I joined the Air Force, and that was back in 1987. So as an 18-year-old, packed up from home, moved down to Canberra and went through the Defence Academy, which was the second year that it was open. So that was the year that Top Gun came out, and coincidentally Maverick now. So who hasn't seen Maverick?
Oh,
if you haven't, make sure you go and see it. So it's and I think I was one of, at that stage, 25 girls that were in the intake of about 300 men. Well, I should say boys, because they're only 18. And for 3 years I lived at the Defence Academy and went through the struggles that did. Thought I'd only do 7 years, that turned into 10, that turned into 15, and the rest is sort of history.
Amazing. Now, Jacquie, you spoke at a very important conference in India, the Women's Economic Forum. Tell us about that experience.
Wow. It's the simplest word to use. You said it was going to be life-changing, and it honestly was. I think, and listening to Janine earlier with that imposter syndrome, getting up in stage in front of 2,000 women in India, completely different culture, you really realise the difference in what we have here. And I had to speak, well, the breakout session was stand up for yourself, truly stand up for others. And the lady that went before me, who most people will probably know on the Gold Coast, brought down Rolf Harris. The next lady had someone who had her husband tried to kill her. So I'm there in the wings going, what right do I really have for following them? My story isn't that special, it's vanilla, well, what I thought. And then when I got up there and talked about my 2 divorces and the judgment that went along with that, there was a lady that started crying in the back row. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. And
we have tissues. I keep telling everyone, I'm prepared.
And she stood up and she said that was the first time she'd ever said the word divorce. Now, when 2 out of 3 women, in marriages end up in divorce, that's a pretty huge stigma that people still today carry around. And I think I did at one stage as well, but gone.
Gone ski. Totally gone ski. Love it. What are some of the challenges facing women today, do you feel?
Comparing each other. It's competition. And honestly, everyone has no 2 people are the same, and you have such an innate gift, and you just lose track because you put a mum, a sister.
Label.
And it just does my head in. You just want to shake these people and sort of say, just be you. And my number plate in my car says just be you. And it's a constant reminder. I've had guys stop me, the traffic patrollers just stop because it's resonated with them, because what's wrong with you? That you're not broken, you haven't got anything wrong with you, you've got innate abilities, and you just need to bring them out and be reminded what a special person you really are.
I love that. Love that. Jacquie, we all have aha moments in life, and some of this literally, when they happen, it's like they stop us literally in our tracks. It's like we're walking or we're doing something and it's like, whoa. Tell us about one of yours.
I've had a couple, and a few I've regressed because I don't think I really saw it as the lesson it was teaching me at the time. But the significant one was 2012, and now I will get emotional.
I still have tissues.
And I was sitting next to my mum on, and she'd been in hospital, Gold Coast Hospital, for a couple of weeks, and she just looked at me and she was struggling to speak at that stage, and she wrote down on a piece of paper and she said, "Life's too short, live without regret." And I've got all the goosebumps.
I've got them.
Goosebumps now. And that was my aha moment. I realised I was living someone else's life. I was the business partner in something else I was doing. I was getting taken for granted because I was doing what they expected me to do, what I didn't want to do. I didn't get to see my mum. I thought sending beautiful hampers and that would make up for time, but you don't get that back. You just don't get that back. And that was that moment. And she sort of, if she'd had more time with me, that would have been everything to her. And I can't get that back. Oh. Which is why that's why I've got into what I have.
So tell us what you love so much about mentoring.
Making sure that people remember that often we hold on to something and we often say should have, could have, didn't. And when when it's coming to the end of your life and you're going and you look back and going, you hear it all the time. They don't want you to be working more hours in the office or whatever. Your child wants, and you might have seen that one with a beautiful story about the boy that wants to pay his dad for time, like what he'd get for his wage. Those messages are everywhere. And if you can actually stop and go, you know what? That trip I wanted to do on what would have been Mum's 90th birthday, I did a half marathon, not that it may look at like this, but a half marathon on the Great Wall of China. And that was just it took me out of my comfort zone. I went, holy, I can actually do that and tick that off. And there's so many things that we put off to later, but you don't know how long you've got or with special people. So it's that whole seize the day and just take hold of it and what is stopping you. And that's what I like doing in the mentoring is going, well, what is it that's actually been stopping you? Because it's you. You know what you want to do. Just get it out there and go do it.
And that leads me into what I was bursting to ask you is we all have these dreams and visions and crazy 2 a.m. ideas like launching a TV show and the support network of family, but girlfriends, it's a girlfriend hour, like the nourishment and soul food that your girlfriends give you. And I so wish that I had a whole nother 24/7 just so there was two of me and one just played and lunched and danced and did dinner parties with all my girlfriends and the other one did all of this because it's so hard. But what do you cherish most about your girlfriends?
I think what I cherish most is that they can read me sometimes when I can't, that check to go, what she's saying, she actually means this, and call in the BS if it needs to be called, but also just to be your biggest raving fan. We're really good at supporting other girlfriends or men, but you get to the stage and it's occasionally you just need that someone to go, you're not crazy.
Yes.
It's a great idea. Go. Yes. What's stopping you?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you loving the Girlfriend Hour so far? We hope you've been inspired by the wonderful women you've seen sharing their stories. Do you have an inspiring story of your own to share? We're looking for magic just like yours. Be featured in Feminescence magazine and start your own exciting media journey. Join many other fabulous women who've been profiled in Feminescence magazine. Unlock access to an international audience, propel your career and expand your network. Make today the day you back yourself. What are you waiting for? Visit feminescence.com.au to find out more.